Munhall Council regular meeting, September 16, 2025. It is 7 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance, please. Mrs. Pletch, will you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Shields. Mr. Eads. Mr. Youngkins.
Here.
Ms. Fry.
Here.
Everybody gets two.
Mr. Firestone. Here. Mr. Brennan. Here. Mr. Ravashko.
Present.
Chief Coles.
Here.
Chief Caterino.
Here.
Mr. Elias.
Here.
Bob's here. Dave.
Here.
I'm here too. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Coles.
Here. We had an executive session for personnel issues from 6 to 7 p.m. We're now open a hearing with Mr. Vasher.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you've seen the agenda, we have two public hearings scheduled tonight for discussion and input from the public. One of them will be voted on. The second one is a tax forgiveness ordinance, and we're ready to act on that after the public has opportunity to offer input. But the first one is the LERTA, and there are other specific statutory authorizations I'll talk about in a minute because I'm going to summarize it. The purpose of that really tonight is to set the geographical boundaries of the area and also the tax exemption period, and there are various options. And so once council, whenever they're ready to vote on that, will give me direction, then I'm going to complete the ordinance. I have to send it to the Allegheny County Planning Department for their review, allow 45 days, and wait for their comments, and then we can act on that finally to adopt it. So let's begin with the first hearing. This is an ordinance authorized by multiple Pennsylvania statutes, the Local Economic Revitalization Tax Assistance Act, acronym is LERTA, also the Improvement of Deteriorating Real Property or Areas Tax Exemption Act, also Tax Exemption and Mixed Use Incentive Program Act, also the New Home Construction Local Tax Abatement Act. This process started out just with LERTA because we received information that the district wanted to adopt LERTA, and we focused on that initially. But as this has progressed and developed, we came to learn and realize that taxpayers and also elected officials were interested in a broader scope than LERTA to also include residential, and that's what the Planning Commission had also recommended, so we've expanded it. I did in the drafting based on the recommendation of the Planning Commission and the direction of council. So the Planning Commission met on August 5th, 2025, which is a requirement to consider this ordinance. They held a public hearing, they reviewed everything, and they recommended that the borough adopt such a tax exemption ordinance, and they recommended the borough council that the geographic area under the LERTA for distressed areas should encompass the entire borough. That's the recommendation that's been submitted to council for their consideration. Just quickly about this ordinance. So we have to do two things tonight. Borough council, after input from the public, has to establish the deteriorated area. And what defines a deteriorated area is set forth in the ordinance. It includes vacant, overgrown, or unsightly parcels of property, a disproportionate number of tax delinquent properties, unsafe, unsanitary, or overcrowded buildings, excessive land coverage, defective design or arrangement of buildings, economically and socially undesirable land uses, and others. So all those things factor into what Borough Council will decide. Should it be the entire borough, as the Planning Commission recommended, or perhaps lesser? That will be considered by council tonight and perhaps decided. We'll wait and see when they vote. The way this works is, with these ordinances, the property owner, upon application and approval, is entitled to an exemption from borough real estate taxes due to the increased or additional assessment valuation attributable to improvements made in the amounts of those improvements. So the exemption from borough taxes, and we're assuming the school's doing the same thing, and hopefully the county, is specifically limited to the additional assessment valuation. So the increase attributable to the money spent by the owner to increase the value of the property. The exemption does not include and does not apply to the land or the deteriorated property or unimproved residential property prior to the improvements being made. It's only the money spent to improvement. That's an exemption. So council will consider that tonight, and then they also have to decide on a schedule. Some of these Pennsylvania statutes I've already recited call for a maximum of a 10-year exemption with percentages, and commonly in other communities I've seen 100%, 90, 80, 70, down to 10, or it can make it 5 years, and whatever scale this borough council decides is appropriate. That applies to the LRTA. For new home construction, though, on unimproved residential property, so if there's a residential lot and there's nothing on it, someone says, I want to build a new home, can I get this tax exemption? That's limited to a period of 2 years based on the statutory authority, so that would have to be set too. These don't have to be decided tonight by council, but the law requires that we have a public hearing first and get the public's input before a decision is made. So that is a summary of the ordinance. It is not being adopted tonight, as I indicated. So, Mr. President, that concludes my summary of the ordinance and my comments. So, at this time we want to allow the public to speak before council has discussion. That's your call.
Any public comments on our hearing? Brad?
I'm Brad Petriga. I live at 1332 Margaret Street, and this LRTA ordinance has been at the top of my priority list recently, and I just would encourage council to think along the terms of the bigger picture of this ordinance, bringing in development to our community, encouraging people to acquire properties and improve properties that are currently not being addressed and are currently not being developed. This is a way to incentivize this type of development, and many other communities have found this to be successful. It's just a matter of local communities being aware of this type of ordinance and adopting one of their own. So I would encourage you to think in terms of improving the community and establishing this as an ordinance that developers can refer to and perhaps jump in and actually build a few properties, especially in my area. I live in North Munhall, and this is a great opportunity for development in this region. So I thank you guys for your work. I know this has been complicated and has at times been complex in terms of the steps to go through, but I really appreciate your patience and your attention to this ordinance.
I appreciate your passion on this.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Hannah?
For your patience.
Bill Hanna, 138 Carmel Drive. I requested on 2 times for the council to look into the fact that, classifying the whole region as distressed area would have any effect on our bond rate. Is that all it made?
Yes, I reached out to that bond, which handles our bond, and it's not the person didn't have a ready answer, but the recommendation, they didn't think there was a impact on determining the entire borough as a LRTA community, whatever the terminology is, would not have an impact on the bond.
An impact on the bond rate. Since this is part of the discussion, has there been discussion within the council on the length of the exemption?
We haven't, I can tell you, I haven't been given any direction. So, and I'm not saying council's ready to make a decision tonight. But you understand, the next step is public input. And they may need more time to consider the area and or the exemption schedule. We start with the public. So I haven't been given any direction about what specific schedule they want to use. I can tell you that.
So let me rephrase the question. Has the council discussed the matter of the exemption length of time?
No, not with me.
All right, thank you.
I don't believe we have any public presentations. We can vote on that?
No, there's another hearing.
Another hearing, okay.
You gotta finish this hearing first.
Okay, yeah, I want to, all right, this is last call on this particular ordinance. It's not going to be finally voted on tonight, which I've explained, and I think you all understand. Does anyone else want to comment on this tax exemption ordinance before council makes further decisions about what to include in it?
I
Okay,
have a question for it.
yes.
So, we spoke about the LERTA program originally as it was just commercial property. Now it's changed to residential and commercial, correct?
Yes,
So, that's written in the ordinance right here, right now?
it is.
That's not the ordinance.
Not the ordinance?
No, it's in the ordinance. The draft ordinance I prepared, it's in there.
We don't have a draft for us to look at? Is that what you're saying?
What?
I got 3 people talking, so I'm really finding it hard to answer you.
I do not. I believe, I expect I would have shared it with David, but I can't sit here with.
So I passed it out to everybody, but we're not voting on the LERTA right now. What I have in front of me is a tax forgiveness ordinance, which is to be voted on tonight.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so we keep calling it alerta, but I've expanded it beyond alerta. You're right, we had discussions that doesn't apply to residential. And the input I was getting from everybody and discussions we've had informally was that we want to include residential. And that's what the planning commissioner recommended, so I did. Doesn't mean you have to agree with that,
Right.
but it now includes all that.
So what we're voting on is just what?
You're not voting on this ordinance tonight at all. This is just a required step in the process.
Okay.
The public hearing, everyone's had a chance to speak, the public hearing is concluded.
Okay.
It's now for council's further discussion and consideration.
Okay.
Okay, that's an evolving process.
Will we have a separate meeting on this, or will we
So it's
do
up
that
to your
continued?
president and manager, how do you want to handle that?
How do we want to do it?
I'll talk to Dave, let everybody know for next month.
Is there a timeline?
We still
to get
need
this done?
30-day notice to the public before you can adopt the ordinance. So until the ordinance is finalized, it would start at that point. I get it out to the, basically, council would then have to authorize
Well,
to.
there's a longer timeline.
Yeah, so it's a lot, it's many months down.
We have to discuss what we want to put in the ordinance first, before we even get to that.
Well, the area and the tax exemption schedule, that's what has to be decided. Everything else I have in there. But you told me to change something
Everything is
else.
done except for the timeline, right?
But, well, no, the area.
The area.
You want the entire borough or a lesser amount than the entire borough?
Because our concern was, if we concluded the entire borough, it would be a problem with our assessment.
Or there was someone asked that question. I don't know. I know many other municipalities have designated the entire borough to help to foster improvements and rehabilitation. But,
There was a question whether that would affect our bond.
right, I don't know. David, I think, said he looked into that. But one last thing, Mr. Brennan, as I said earlier in my comments, once council decides on a final draft of the ordinance, I have to send it to the Allegheny County Planning Department for 45-day review. Then we can advertise and then vote to adopt. It's
Okay.
all required by statute, right?
We're lucky to get it in this year.
Yeah, we hustle.
Right.
Okay. Is that it for the BRTA and other tax exemption? We done?
I believe so. Any more questions from council?
Okay, well, that'll be discussed further undoubtedly. Okay, the second public hearing, and this is on the agenda tonight for possible adoption, if council does so. It's also a tax-related ordinance. This is the tax forgiveness program. This is a program that Homestead Borough, our neighboring community, has used effectively and successfully for some time now, and it's been brought to our attention. The council has studied this carefully for quite some period of time, and we've had discussions with the public at prior meetings dating back 6, 8, 9 months, and council decided that they want to consider moving forward with it. So the council has decided that a tax forgiveness program, I'm summarizing the ordinance now. Tax forgiveness program is a necessary tool that will assist the borough in remediating tax delinquent properties by establishing rules and procedures to allow these properties to transfer to new ownership, to promote the rehabilitation of dilapidated structures they're on, to avoid them from becoming further blighted to the extent that demolition is the only option. The Pennsylvania statute known as the Tax Compromise Act allows taxing authorities such as this borough and court approval to accept less than the total bill due in full satisfaction of real estate taxes where the amount owed exceeds the amount which can be realized at a tax sale or could be obtained through forced collection. So the tax forgiveness program is going to be implemented if adopted to help with those problems. The way this works, it's a program that involves the private acquisition or private purchase of tax delinquent properties through private sales. If someone owns a tax delinquent property, can't come and apply for this. It has to be someone that wants to buy and has targeted a tax delinquent property. It says, if I can buy that property, I think I'd be interested in rehabbing it and spending money on it to develop it with this tax forgiveness program. They'd submit an application to the borough for forgiveness of the delinquent taxes, and it will be considered, and if the application is reviewed and approved, then they would be admitted to the program. The way it works is the applicants, when they purchase the tax delinquent property, they must spend funds that are spent solely to remediate the dilapidated property in an amount at least of 100% of the delinquent taxes. So whatever the taxes are, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, they have to be willing to spend at least that much money to improve the property, which helps the tax base, helps the value of the property, betters the appearance of the structure. As long as they're willing to do that, then they will be eligible for the program. They have 1 year is the deadline to complete the improvements. If they don't, then they're automatically terminated from the agreement. And once the borough manager and our building inspector, code enforcement officer have inspected the property, they say, we're all done, come and look. And they have to give us periodic reports too. We're gonna look and say, yeah, it's beautiful, you spent this much money exceeding the taxes. Okay, we agree. Then the burden is on the applicant to go to court, file a petition to have the taxes forgiven, which we will consent to, and the school will consent to, and hopefully the county will get the taxes forgiven. So that's a summary of what the program's about. With that being said, does the public have any questions or comments?
My name is Brad Patriga. I'm from 1332 Margaret Street. This is actually a comment that is primarily meant for the record and for the public. But a lot of times we experience in this community a situation where property goes unclaimed. The owner has died, perhaps they don't have any next of kin, or perhaps their legal status has been a difficult situation. And so this is one thing that I hope that the public becomes a little bit more aware of in terms of making sure that their affairs are in order, making sure they have an updated will, making sure they have updated legal documents in order to pass this property to the next owner properly. There are multiple properties right now that I'm currently working on where the owner has passed away and we cannot find a family member, or the legal process has failed the next of kin. And this, of course, sets the property into a very precarious situation because no one can actively claim that property. So I encourage the public to consider wills and estates when they're putting their affairs in order, especially checking in on their older family members to make sure their affairs are in order. But this particular ordinance, this tax forgiveness ordinance, allows us to at least address this problem. And I know there are multiple developers who are able to acquire some of these properties and put them back on the tax rolls, despite years and years of delinquent taxes and uncollected taxes. So that's the only comment I have for this particular ordinance, and I hope that helps the borough and helps the public consider it. And I appreciate your time and attention.
Thanks, Brad.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
I just have a real small comment. 719 East 11th, Charlene David. When considering this ordinance, my big worry is that they're going to be bought by corporations, they're going to do what they need to do, and they're going to rent them. So just when you consider this, please think about some type of line item to give at least a little consideration to someone, a younger couple who want to come in, buy that home, fix it up, and raise a family.
Anyone else from the public have a comment or question? I'm scanning, I don't see anyone else. Okay, that concludes the public hearing, and this ordinance is on the agenda later for vote by Borough Council. That concludes all public hearings. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have no public presentations we're aware of, right? No. I'll have to take a motion to approve the minutes from the August 12th, 2025 workshop meeting.
Motion.
Motion? All in favor? Second, give a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I have a motion for the August 19th, 2020 council meeting minutes, August 19th, 2025.
Motion.
Motion is second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor's report.
First thing we're going to do is, we have a lot of family here for Chief Caterino. We're going to, I know we did it last month, but we wanted to swear him in front of his family and his friends and some of his officers that are here. So, Chief, can you come forward
I
with
wouldn't
me?
think he had many friends, to be honest with you.
Well, these are all family.
A lot of young kids, looks like some of them are there past their bedtime. Maybe past my bedtime, too, for Chief, I'm going to invite your family and your officers that are here, whether they're Munhall officers or officers from somewhere else, to stand here behind you while we're doing the oath. So please come up, yes, please come up. Family, I know, we can get you all in there. You're his family, you're his support, and I just thought of this today, and I mentioned to Jamie, how do I bring it up here and show how many people? Okay, is there some fellow officers here? I know he's.
I know you don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it.
Okay, we're gonna reposition a little bit here. All right. Okay, everybody else wants to come up? Okay. Okay, Chief, raise your right hand and swear after me. I,
I,
James Michael Caterino,
James Michael Caterino,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
of the Chief of Police
of the Chief of Police
for Munhall Borough
for Munhall Borough
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I will enforce the laws of the Commonwealth,
I will enforce the laws of the Commonwealth,
the ordinance of Munhall Borough,
the ordinance of Munhall Borough,
fairly
fairly
and impartially,
and impartially,
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming, my family and friends.
Very well done.
Okay, and I guess I'm still on the mayor's report. This Saturday, the 20th, we have, we're calling it Saturday in the Park. It's from 12 to 5. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be a couple bands. And it's going to be a good time. It's down at the library, right in front on 10th Avenue. I think Mr. Vicey's got me a couple guys coming down to help out the chief. I'll need, an extra shift on maybe for an officer that day. But it should be a good time in a lot of a good community festival, a good community environment. As you know, we don't have community days right now, but we do 4 or 5 different things a year in the Munhall Market Nights and in this one here we're doing down at the library. We're moving it down there in the daylight 12 to 5. And then we have, well, there's a lot of things coming up we do in the community. We have the Halloween parade coming up in October. And in late November, after Thanksgiving, we have a small business Saturday up on Main Street where we'll have same type of things, festival going on. So a lot of stuff going on there. And just want to say that I'm proud. We have our chief in. I have all the confidence in the world. He's going to be, a great chief of police for Munhall Borough. And I'm looking forward to working with him. And that really concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Solicitor's report.
No, thank you, Mr. President. I've already got my item for the evening.
Engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple things. We opened bids for Main Street on Thursday. We got 2 low bidders. One for the general mechanical contract at $751,879, and the low bidder for the electrical was $1.3 million.
Who named the contractors?
Was that?
Who named the
Sorry,
contractors?
Liberoni was the general mechanical, and Moranti is the electrical. So, and we have a bid report in your package. I recommend awarding both of those. Ravine Street speed humps, we keep getting pushed back on schedule. They were supposed to start this week, and now I'm here at the end of the month. Rear lot is completed. They just finished the painting today. And then Creek Street, we're working with DEP and required permitting. Probably gonna put that up and again later this year, maybe in the spring.
Can you let the contractor know, who is the contractor for the speed humps?
El Grande.
Can you let them know time is of the essence?
Yes, I've
Yes.
been pushing them
Right,
almost weekly.
right. Can't ask for more than that. Code enforcement.
You get a copy of our report, I'll briefly go over it. Building permits issued 22, occupancy inspections 24, lien letters sent out 17, code enforcement notification letters 55, and court hearings at 20, with 11 people found guilty for a little over $6,000.
Anything else?
That's all.
Public Works.
Still paving alleys, probably be paved in the next 6 weeks or so. So I have.
I have a question. As far as, are we done patching potholes? That's done for the season? We're still, and the plants are open till what? November?
They closed up right before Thanksgiving.
Okay, they go a little bit further then, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still on that?
Yes.
Okay. Police Chief's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. All council got a copy of my report. We got 600 calls for service, 35 arrests, 64 traffic citations, 100 traffic stops. And August 22nd, Munhall Officer Obardo represented Munhall Police Department for Market Night on Main Street. And several officers worked a state-funded aggressive driving enforcement detail along with DUI checkpoint enforcement. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Manager's report.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Glenn. You're hidden back there.
Hey, I'm
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. For Bureau of Fire for August of 2025, we had a total of 55 calls, 31 in town, 24 mutual aid requests. Our average times from dispatch to the first unit en route to the call was 2 minutes and 49 seconds. From dispatch to the first unit on scene was 5 minutes and 29 seconds. And we had a total of 1,153 man hours for the month. I just got done completing a required workman's comp audit and inspection. I should be getting that report back in the next couple of weeks, but it seems like we did pretty good on that. And we are starting to schedule all of our fire prevention details. We're going to be at St. Teresa's School on October 9th, Park School on October 10th, and the Lowe's Safety Day on October 18th, and we still have to schedule a few more after that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Glenn. Manager.
Couple things. First off, we've gotten from Duquesne Light their recommendation of where to place the charging station. They have a map in the packets. So we're going back and forth. We don't have to move the salt bin, which is great. And we were initially thinking of putting a charging station for the garbage trucks down by the salt bin. But Duquesne Light would prefer to put them on the far side of the parking lot, the lower parking lot, past where it's paved. We need to clear out some more of that area, and clear out some more trees, folks said we're doing that as well. And we'll be able to run a line from Hayes. The street, there's a transformer there that we can connect directly to the charging station. So that's gonna move forward, hopefully soon. I don't know the time on that yet.
Can you give us briefly a savings? I mean, it's really a lot shorter of a line to run from Hayes Street to where they are than from down Western Road. So that has to really,
Well, I'm not sure if there was much of a savings in terms of that, because the transformer, if I'm not mistaken, that was originally by the salt bin was sufficient. That's sufficient capacity.
hopefully,
But they were gonna move it or remove it entirely, I'm not sure what they're doing, but they basically want it over here. I mean, the whole project saved us a lot of money, because we're not moving salt bin, the lower parking lot saved us money, so all in all, we're doing well in terms of that.
thank you.
The mayor and I just got an email yesterday from the county treasurer with additional office hours. I'm gonna get these onto the website as soon as I can, and Savvy Citizen. Running from Tuesday, October 7th, through March. I have the dates here, October 7th, November 18th, December 9th, January 6th, February 10th, March 10th, 10 to 2 p.m. in the mayor's office. Treasurer, representative from the treasurer's office would be available to answer questions, anything tax related for the county.
Just a little more than tax related too, especially with hunting season come up and fishing. They'll actually be able to get your hunting or fishing license on it when hunting comes up. So being we have a nice attendance dog licenses, they can process those up here. Besides just paying your taxes.
Port Authority passes?
I'll check on that one.
I think I heard it.
I'll double check on Port Authority passes.
Yeah, I think at our meeting we had,
For the seniors, you mean, like for
they do
senior
it up there, yeah.
passes?
You can get Port Authority
Yeah.
senior passes.
They do a lot
Senior
more
passes.
than just take your taxes, so if you're in need of a dog license, a hunting license, a fishing license, they can do all that. Small games and chance licenses, if the fire hall needs something like that, you know.
Was that always the case, or that's something new? Because I never knew that.
No, they've always done that. That's always been part of the treasurer's
I thought you
office.
had to go through the, you know.
No, it's something that they can help the process,
Okay.
so.
We received an email from mackengineering.com regarding the Gap Trail and the historic Hot Metal Bridge that goes into Rankin. They are in the process of extending the Gap Trails across the Monongahela at that point. There is an information session, open house on September 30th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Carnegie Library to provide the public information about that project. I don't have much beyond a few maps and drawings, but they will have any information that you're interested in knowing.
I hope they have all the information we need.
Well,
Other
for
questions?
the other part of the trail, this is only regarding the hospital.
Right, that's the Hot Metal Bridge side, but
Yeah.
they're all eventually tied in.
Yeah, in theory.
It's all part of the plan, yes.
And then I'm also working on trying to increase our MS4 compliance. So there's a public education aspect of that, which I need to really work on. So I'd like to work with the school district to kind of have some educational opportunities with the students to understand the importance of stormwater management. So I want to work with the school district on that moving forward. Also need to have some cleanup days. So Allegheny Greenways does that. So I've reached out, Taylor's reached out to them to try to get a time in the spring to have them come out and work with some of our waterways, kind of get them cleaned up a little bit. So something we haven't done, at least not in recent memory. A couple items for the agenda I need to make some adjustments for. I'm going to have to have council vote to open up the agenda. There are 3 items that we need to add, 2 of which are the approval of the Main Street projects. This is a short turnaround, I didn't get them in the agenda, but we want to get these done as quickly as possible. So I'm going to want council to add 2 agenda points in that, to award the Baroni for the general.
You want to write them up and we'll do them at the end?
I can do that, I can do that. How do you want me to do this, Greg?
I know what they are.
You wanna do it?
I'll announce them.
Okay.
So the two contract bids, and then also through a miscommunication, I removed the tax forgiveness ordinance vote from the actual.
But it was already advertised, that's fine.
Yes.
So, I'd say at this time, and then we get to the end, if you don't mind, I'll state what the motion
I can't
should be.
even see that.
Yeah, that's very smart. But at this time, your pleasure, we can make a motion for council to vote to amend the agenda. And then when we get to the end, I'll state what the motions are.
Okay.
So if someone wants to make a motion?
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion?
I'll second.
Second? You agree?
No, this is just to amend the agenda.
Amend agenda, okay. Motion to amend agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll do it at the end, okay, gotcha.
That's all I have, unless people have questions for me.
Any questions from council? I have a question on the street closure coming up next.
Yes, yes.
Do we have to have a permit for that? How's that go, Boone?
No, we usually, public works go up and get 2 horses if needed, and then the police, we notify the police.
Maybe we should look into having an official permit for street closures. I think something more proper, don't you think? Apply for a street closure permit? Yeah, something we should look into. And in most places, you have to get a permit to do that. And no charge, but it's just a permit, we know what's going on.
Well, I wonder if a charge may be prudence, because if we have to do overtime.
Clean up.
Overtime for our public works staff. in
Right.
particular,
Well,
that'd be
that could be discussed, right? Yeah.
Well, I do have one question. On Main Street, were they paving today up there? Or digging? Because, I had one call.
Gas company.
Gas company.
Those gas lines, did that affect a lot of the parking on Main? Because that was somebody. But it's exception, of course, for better fix it.
We don't have a tax collector's report, do we?
I can tell you that we collected another $150,000 for the last month, so.
We're winding down.
We're winding down, and we're on good pace.
Okay. Public comments on non-agenda items, do we have any?
I do.
Agreements? Let's go to public.
I had spoke to Chief Ford during the beginning of the summer, and about this placard to do with my sign in front of the street. And he was working on it, and I don't know how much he got done, but I talked to him almost 2 weeks right before he retired, and said that.
Right before what?
Talked to council that. I'm trying to get these placard numbers on that sign, so it could be addressed to me, because, I mean, the street, the neighborhood's been pretty calm, everything's been going okay, but they get these parties going and they make sure they park there. Okay, now they're placard, they're plated, so I can't call, the police, it's legit. But it's always on the weekends, especially when I have to go food shopping or something like that. And I talked to a friend in West Mifflin, and they said that borough and a lot of the boroughs have that. But it's an ordinance thing, that sign would have those numbers on it.
Can you address that, Chief, for me? The
Yes,
numbers?
I spoke with Chief Fuller about it, and it did come up, I believe it was like 2 years ago, in Title 75, that it says you may do that, but there has to be an ordinance created.
Now, how would that work? Can you explain it to me? The numbers?
Typically, a handicap parking sign is open for any handicap parking person. But the law changed, as Chief indicated a couple of years ago, I'm familiar with the statute, and they now allow municipalities, if they choose, to offer a handicap parking space designated to one person.
One number on her plaque.
Yeah, but they gotta pay for the sign. Otherwise, they don't pay for the sign.
Correct.
If we're doing that, you gotta pay for the sign, is what the
Yeah.
ordinance, the statute provides.
Council would have to, when they do the ordinance, there would have to be some type of fee.
For the fee.
My reason.
Right. So the placard, her placard would have to match the sign in front of her house.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Well, we make the sign.
Right, we have to make
Pay
the sign.
for it, if it's
Right.
approved. Normally it
approved.
goes through the police department, they
Right.
make a recommendation to council, so.
I know up the co-op, it's kind of a nightmare up there. If we put placard signs, numbers on them all up there, I don't know what we do.
Well, you don't have to, it's your
No, you don't have,
discretion.
so once we pass the ordinance, now, if we pass the ordinance, we have to do them all, or per,
No.
we don't?
Even with the law in place, it's discretionary to council, because you have to take into consideration parking. you know, if everyone on the same block wants a handicap space and there's no space anywhere else for residents to park, so, I mean, you can deny for reasons in your discretion that you think are appropriate, even if the person meets the eligibility requirements on the application, doesn't mean you have to grant it.
We have an officer designated to do that. They go to the area where it's being requested. And if there's already ones on there, like Greg said, you can't put too many on one street because there'd be no parking for anybody else.
So you're asking us to consider that ordinance.
I think there's actually two signs between the extension and to Martha.
Right.
One's on the corner and then in front of my place.
Okay.
My pet peeve is, I want to keep things calm like they've been. And they're having these parties, and there could be nobody parking anywhere. They'll park on that spot. I mean, they have a placard.
Well, right now, everything's legal.
Right, but like an example, the last one that did it last week, she came for the guy next door, and his spot was free. She parked there instead. There was umpteen places for her to park, and she's picking them up on my spot.
You know, she had a placard.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and she's out there waving it, and
Okay.
this is where I don't want no trouble.
Right, I understand.
She's telling, I come out and I see the placard wave, I turned away, she goes, go back in your house.
We'll consider that ordinance.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I just don't want no more trouble.
We understand.
Definitely,
We
it's been
understand.
so calm.
Any more comments on agenda items? Non-agenda items?
I do.
Yes.
Um,
Have your address, please.
887 Munn Street. My name is Renee Gelston. So we're here for the Hungarian Club, and it's a mess. It's a mess. We, the residents of Munn Street and surrounding areas, have had enough. We want it shut down. I have a petition here. I don't know who I give it to, but I have a petition. And as I was going around to these residents and talking to them, we're all fed up. We're in fear for our life. We're in fear for our property. Nobody wants to say anything to these bar patrons. They all come out drunk. You can't communicate with them. It's just they're peeing, they're pooping, they're having sex. They're doing everything on our properties. They're loud. They have...
Is the music still loud?
Yes. They have a metal detector now on their sidewalk. So all night long you hear beep, beep. They hire new security, I guess they are. And when their lot's full, they're screaming, lot's full, keep going, keep going, keep going. We can't open our windows at night. As I was out getting this petition, a resident told me that one of the patrons from the bar held a gun to her. She ran back in her house. She did not call 911 because these people don't know to call 911. They just run back in their house. They're too scared. I had a resident tell me that they park in his parking lot.
You have to call. Because
We know that.
If you don't call, it didn't happen.
Yeah. We had a resident who, they park on his property. He's afraid to say something to them because he's afraid they'll throw a brick through his window or they'll retaliate against him.
That's me, I'll be happy to talk about it.
You want to come up too?
Yeah, Zach Brown, 18
Come on up.
Main Street, the old Munhall neighborhood house.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm,
Right.
I've got a young daughter at home,
Right.
it's just in the house, and I'm up late in the studio, painter, artist, and I'm working.
Right.
So I see them coming through, they're parking in my parking lot. Even the owner at one point, we were out in the yard having a bonfire, we had a chain up. He pulls right over the chain, gets all upset. Like, what are you doing with the chain up? I'm like, this isn't a public lot, this is my house.
Jeez.
And the act's all.
So you live in the old neighborhood?
Yeah.
I was wondering, I spent a lot of time down there as a kid.
Yeah, a lot of my neighbors have too.
That's a fortress.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot on the interior, slowly working on the exterior now to get some stuff done before the first frost, get a new fence up. But no, it was really bad for a long time, and I honestly thought it was shut down, but you don't know when these things are gonna pop up. They fill up all the entire streets. They're walking through like my backyard, my patio, they're fighting. Just like last week, I heard shots going off. I don't know where they came from, but I'm just like, it's a nightmare. They're fighting. I find drug paraphernalia out by my place.
He was a little kid.
Yeah.
Our kids play outside. We all have kids. What if
they
we
pulled
do
up on
things
the ramp?
Yeah, so Saturday night, our cameras caught it. We were sleeping, unfortunately.
Jamie's big on cameras.
But I have a handicap ramp, and they drove on it. They got stuck. It's at least $100 I have to replace. Now, am I legally allowed to go after the bar for this? Because it was one of their patrons that drove onto there was a traffic jam up on our street. And
Did you call the police?
I did. I called
Fine,
called
filed a
you
report?
personally. I called Officer
I didn't
Miller
know,
for
I didn't
the
know
report.
about the sign. I just found out about that today from Steve.
Yeah, Officer Miller took the report.
Okay.
And
Because there are cameras in the area where we would be able to get license plates. If you said
it was a
camera
Jeep
caught.
Renegade. I don't have the
Do you know the
plate.
color?
I can look at the cameras, but it's like, I think I did a black and it was two African American driving.
If you could get that information and get it to us.
I did, I found it in the police report.
Okay. I'll
Officer
I'll
Miller
look
says to
into it.
write it up. But they did, they drove onto our ramp, and it's loose, it's, God forbid anything happen when she's going down, she can't stop right now, she's going down the hill.
What do they actually have in there?
We don't know.
It seems like an after-hours
Yeah.
bar, so people are already coming in, they're already busted up from someplace
Well, it's
else.
considered a club.
So we were told, well, this is hearsay, okay, what we've been hearing. When other bars close at 2 a.m., they are telling those patrons from those bars to go to a Hungarian club down the road because they're open until 3:30 in the morning. Now, Liquor Control Board is involved in this. It was my understanding that they close at they stop serving alcohol at 3 o'clock. By 3:30, everybody has to be off the premises, but here's where the problems result. When these people are parking everywhere, they're going as far as behind Rallies, the street, so Harris, behind Rallies, and then the
Grant.
street over. Is that Grant?
That's the next one over.
They're going down on Ravine Street, they're down on Crick Street, they're Hall Street, Munn Street, everywhere. They're partying at their cars. So they're partying in the parking lot. I have
So
videos on my phone.
after it closes, they still party out?
Till like 4:30 in the morning. The one neighbor that I had sign the petition, or I asked, I didn't have anybody sign, I asked. They were peeing behind his property on set. So it's like Friday night into Saturday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning. And they've been opening Sundays now too, but I don't think the crowd is that bad on Sundays. But we're fed up. We want this place shut down. We want it, we're done.
There was an individual peeing on my, back patio, and banging on the window, only to get cursed out, like I'm the person doing something wrong. And not just that, just like, so, I called before, get people towed, but, who knows what people are gonna do? They know where they park, they know what building's associated with it. I don't need any, really good decision-making being done by these individuals.
I know we did a bunch of signs down there last year, right?
Oh, yeah, they park up all through it.
Yes, our guys they tow down there.
And they are, and I do want to give a shout out to Officer Terry. He's been really, at nights, he's been really helping us. Like, he's been coming, he's been present. So I want to make sure I give a shout out to Officer Terry tonight.
I'll recommend it.
Has LCB been reported on about some of these occurrences?
I'm sorry.
Have you talked to LCB?
I have an officer that I talked to. I actually called him on Monday. He hasn't returned my phone call yet. But they're involved, and is there an LCC?
LCE.
LCE is involved
Used to be
too.
LCB, now it's Liquor Control Enforcement.
So I guess they're supposed to be involved too.
Can we get involved with that, Jamie?
And I can tell you this, that they're very short-handed, and it definitely won't happen overnight. But I talked to Stephen tonight earlier, and I'm gonna talk with the mayor, and I think I could have at least something that would probably alleviate a lot of them problems.
Okay, I mean, we need somebody down
With
there.
presence.
We need somebody down there between like 2, like at least up until 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Because that's when it really gets bad. And we live on the dead end. There's like 5 vehicles that come up, and we have a ding dong that parks in the circle right now. He doesn't even park in a spot, he parks right in the circle, so the car can't turn around. So what happens is you get 2 cars up there that can turn around, then you have a third and a fourth one coming up. Well, that third and fourth one has to back down. We had a neighbor's car that was hit twice within the past 6 months, and now we have property damage to my property. We're done. Enough is enough.
When I first moved into the neighborhood, there was a, there was a private club there. It was a different ownership, someone else must have had the club license. I'd gone in a couple times before.
That was the original Hungarian club.
Yeah, it was a
Right.
standard place.
It was a real real club.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with people who function with like these private club licenses and do an after hour thing, like the Castle over in Bloomfield. But they run a very tight ship over there, and if there's any, and you know, it's over in Bloomfield, there's not a lot of parking, there's a lot of residential stuff. They make a big point of like, I know the owner of this place. He doesn't have any trouble with the neighborhood over there with that.
Jamie, what are the steps we take to do something about this?
The DA's office was always our go-to.
Okay?
But in my professional career here, the only time they ever shut these bars down when there were actually shootings.
The problem is, I've heard that when it happens with.
That's a shame you have to wait for something to happen.
Chief,
They have not front, they do as well, but,
Chief,
yes.
if you remember, this problem is not new.
No, that's what we're going on 3 years now.
This started 4 years ago when Chief Campbell was here. Because I was mayor, Chief Campbell and I went there. You arrested people with guns in their cars.
You blocked off the street.
Yeah.
When I come home from work, it's me, you know, going home.
Well, that's another thing I'm gonna look into, to see if I'll have to talk to our attorney, if we could put barricades up there, you know, at midnight. Or, you know, something to prevent them from parking back.
Yeah, I understand.
I
Is
just
there any way to
want
contact
this
the
place
owner?
shut down. I mean, how would the owner of this place feel if we went in front of his house, blasted our music, party in all the hours of the morning? We have jobs, we need to go to work. You know, we're going to work tired.
They come up here. They come up here and ask for suggestions. They wanted to have police officers there instead of security.
Now, when was it Fuller, or
Chief
Chief Fuller? He had mentioned something about, I had talked to him this last week as a chief, and he had mentioned something about seeing if they can have a double door, because they have like this annoying noise too when the door opens, it's like a horn noise, and it goes off every time the door opens. If they could make like a double door, so like they can have that,
Like a breezeway.
kind of, yeah. Like it's like two doors to get in the building, so that we're not hearing all this noise. You know, there's just multiple things with this. It's the noise coming inside the building, the music, now the patrons, and you know, the parking, which the parking is pretty much
Well,
under
the issue has
control.
always been the patrons.
But, yeah. It's just, it's a multiple issues with this place. Like, we just want peace and quiet. We just want it shut down. We're done.
Well, I just looked in some information today on the club staff, and I know that they have to have, all of them members have to be a member.
Oh, I
And I'm
know.
pretty for certain they're not.
There's club rules.
Every person that goes in there has to
There are exceptions for like trial membership and they
Right,
can
right.
pay a fee.
But they have to have a log and all that, so
But it's a new event every night, and it's new people that run the
that's
events.
what I
every
mean.
night, because we
So
have to go to
I'm
the
gonna reach
restaurant.
out to LCE and see, I don't know, their protocol, and if we can get them involved to hammer down on that, because I think that'll work. Because
It brings
I'm
nothing
pretty for
to
sure
the-
they're not all members. And they have to have a log of it, so.
All right, well, we'll let you do what you gotta do,
All right,
what you're planning on doing.
What would you advise us to do going forward as residents of that?
Don't hesitate to call.
Okay, I just don't want to be a pain.
Just tell.
No,
it's not-
no.
it's just
Be a
call.
pain, definitely.
Yeah, big thing. So you could remain anonymous.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Stephen, and he said that they were demanding that they give his name and his phone number. Then I would request the supervisor, because you don't have to, you could be anonymous, and you just say you're in fear for retaliation. So,
They do that to me too, when I call.
but don't ever hesitate to call for the little things. Anything suspicious, that's what we get paid for.
Okay. Well, we'll let you put your plan in place,
All right.
and if we're not happy, we're gonna come back next time.
Do you guys have a recommendation of a towing service to contact?
Pardon me?
Towing service to contact if they're parked on the lot?
On your lot?
Yeah, the.
Yeah, so that's private,
Yeah,
so you can call any tow company you want.
okay, rude.
Yep. You can call anybody you want.
Now, can he call the cops? And will the cops come and tow it off his property for him?
No, it's private property.
Okay.
So he can call, we use two different tow companies. We
If they're
use
parked
Max-
in the, right across the street, you know, they're with a mechanic, they operate the mechanic shop, they'll park along that, when there's a towaway zone. but-
Yeah, right, we've been towing a lot there.
Yeah, they can tow the.
Yeah, we can tow there, because there's
Okay.
signs all up and down there now.
And like the front of your street too.
Mhm.
the front
Yeah.
of your street, they
Yeah,
go
there's
there.
signs in front of your place.
Okay, thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, just don't hesitate to call, because if you don't call,
You
You don't know.
Yeah, understood.
Especially the shots fired, I mean, everything, call for everything, but
Yeah.
for someone to say that they didn't know to call 911, that someone pointed a gun, I mean, that needs to be addressed. That needs to, they
She
need
just
to
ran
call
back in her
immediately.
house. She just ran back in her house.
But she can call 911 when she goes back to her house.
She could have, but these residents are afraid of retaliation because now they know where she
But
is.
she can call anonymous and say, hey, they just pointed a gun at me, in whatever description she has. At least it's gonna get our officers in the area ASAP.
All right,
Thank you.
All right?
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more comments on non-agenda items?
Is there anything we get done?
So Brad, I'm sure you got 1332. I'll make this real quick. I know you've already heard me enough tonight, but I'm sorry. I did.
If you can do this, you can have the floor.
They're gonna help the call.
Or, you know, but
I'll
keep it up and up and down, okay.
I'll keep it to 3, I promise. This is primarily for Mr. Vashovic and for Mr. Ty, but I also wanted the rest of the council to hear this. A few months ago, a few of my neighbors and I got together and we've been talking about addressing some of the properties and what are some ways that we can help with this.
Dr.
And,
Rich.
Yeah, Rich is one of them, yeah. And there are also a few of them in the audience tonight. And one of the things we wanted to do was to help with data collection and be analyzing some of this. We actually reached out to the University of Pittsburgh, and they actually partnered with the University of Youngstown in urban planning, specifically in that department. So we're actually working with these 2 professors and a Pitt University student to assess some of the data in the area. And one of the things that we've tried to target is tax delinquency data. Perhaps some of you are familiar with Allegheny County's property assessment website. You can pop in an address there and all sorts of information comes up, like an owner, past year's taxes, how much taxes people have either paid or not paid. So my question would be, one, to the legality of this, but also to the possibility of this. Is there a possibility that we could get tax data from Munhall Borough for 2022, 2023, and 2024 based on the parcel ID of these properties? And what we'd be looking for would be like a CSV file or an Excel sheet that would list those parcel IDs of all the residential properties in the area, and then also to the extent that they have paid their taxes. So either a yes or no,
Dave's gonna get on it.
or the specific number.
Or you have to, I mean, technically, you need to submit a right to know request.
Okay.
And if it's in a form like you're requesting, we can produce it. Otherwise, if we have to create a new document legally, we're not required to do that. It's just expending borough resources. I'm not saying what the manager can or cannot do, but you understand that process. So I would suggest you submit a right to know form, and then David can look into it.
I'll try to figure out before you send it. So.
Yeah. I
Can
just
you
wanted
do
to-
that through the county? Can you call the county and have them print everything out?
Yeah, so that's one way that we can do this, is to get county taxes and to the data that they have on the data that they have available. But this would be specific to Munhall Borough.
Local tax.
I also would like to follow up with the school district as well and see the possibility of that, but that was just a request that I.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Any public comments on agenda items?
Bill Hannah, 138 Colonel Drive. I have several questions in reference to motion number 8. Motion to approve the 911 leasing proposal, leasing 2 dump trucks, and also says 3 garbage trucks. So I'm a little confused, a couple things. Based on the dollar amounts and the annual percentage rate, it seems that these are all 5-year loans. First question is, are they 5 years or 4 years or how many years? But are they a lease or is this a purchase?
It's a purchase, 5-year purchase that has no prepayment penalty. The whole idea behind this, I know you're asking about this, is the fact that we don't have a leasing arrangement for the purchase of electric vehicles. This gives us that arrangement, not leasing, but a company that will actually cover the cost of it. Then we can finalize the actual purchase of the electric garbage trucks.
Okay.
And then, once we can then pay off the loan, get reimbursed by the state, and it'll all get resolved. So we don't have to pay anything out until technically September of next year. plenty of time. So it's all about purchasing the previously ordered garbage trucks. It's doing it through this
Okay.
company, which does this kind of a purchase.
So originally, the garbage trucks were about 1.5 million, for which we were on the hook for 10%, or about 150,000, but you gotta float the amount of money.
Yes.
So why would we go for 5 years? Do we expect the fact?
Once again, let me clarify. Now listen, we can pay it off when we get the money. So basically, once we get the trucks, we'll pay it off, submit the receipts, the state gives us the money.
So you have
The
the
1 point,
ability
this
to
is
pay
just to
early.
cover it, there's no penalty to pay it off. Yes.
That's the big one. That's what you wanted to know.
That's one part of the question.
Yes.
The second question I have is in reference to Main Street. I believe the total was the grants over $4 million, but I heard tonight 1.3 million in electrical, and 200,000 or 300,000 for other work, so like, was it around 1.5 million?
No, it's about 2.1 million.
2.1 million.
For the 2 bids, that excludes the money we pay to this company here, KLH, as well as the trash cans, benches, and things.
So from the funding standpoint of that,
We're short about 1.2 million.
so what's our plan?
The plan is to, well, we're gonna apply for 2 grants. We're applying for a Main Street Matters grant, which is why we have to get this thing done quickly, so that they paid us, they gave us money already. And basically, we need, before we can finalize the application for the current one, we have to show we've actually made progress. So that's why we need to get this done as quickly as possible and start work.
So if everything works out as you expect,
Yeah.
hopefully, you would get another million in grants.
Yes, with
If
that one
not-
plus GDF and LSA. There's several grants we're going for that specifically.
Okay.
So I'm well aware of the limitations. We're just gonna get done what we can get done, and
You plan to spend the 2.1 million.
that's the project.
Okay. And if you don't get the grants, you just need to get money to pay for the million.
Yeah, that's
All right.
the
Thank you.
long-term plan.
Thank you, Bill. Any more comments on agenda items?
Bernie, am
Yes.
I allowed to speak?
Absolutely.
Okay. Bill, I called this morning about the same issue about the dump truck and the trash trucks. My suggestion to David was, we have money in, what's it called?
Please.
I went totally blank.
So I get stuck in it.
And I thought, I said, I think we have that much money in, we should pay the dump trucks, no.
Dump trucks.
Yes, the dump trucks off. We don't need to take on another 4.3% interest in addition to that. We could use the pligot money, pay that off, and we are still putting money in place. He said, bring it up tonight. I'm just saying to you, I don't believe in taking out loans. I said, let's pay for what we have, man. And if we can't really pay for it, we shouldn't be keep going further in debt because you don't know what's coming down the road. That's my answer.
Okay, Rick. Very good.
Okay. Here's the, we have the money for, the spending for the last month. Johnson, these are authorized payments for both payroll and other expenditures for the borough. Motion to pay bills, including payroll for a period August 1st to August 31st, 2025, for $473,069.26.
You take a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
Motion to approve payroll for a period ending in July, August 14th, $156,104.20, and August 28th, $159,590.60, for a total of $315,592.63.
Motion.
On the motion, we have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Question.
Any opposed?
Question.
Question on the motion?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Is it July or August?
August.
Okay.
Good. Motion passes.
Give it a second.
Wait a second, who did the second?
Green.
Ready. Mr. Brennan was the front.
All right.
Roll call.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only public vote required on this issue is if someone wants to make a motion to terminate. So that would have to be made, otherwise there's nothing to consider. It's personnel, it's executive session, except for termination. So you would need a motion to terminate, otherwise you don't need to act on the motion.
Motion,
We have a motion.
Motion for what?
termination.
Need a second? Motion dies, no second.
Motion to advertise internal civil service test for Munhall Assistant Chief position.
Motion.
Motion, need a second? Mr. Brennan, Mr. Eads, or Mr. Duncan? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I would like to say I wanted it to be also outside, so I guess I would be the only one.
No.
Okay. Carries. Motion to purchase Munhall Police Ford Explorer for $44,265. This is a third police vehicle we discussed last week, since the police department is down several vehicles, and the mileage and years on our current fleet is increasing. We discussed last month to basically buy an additional Ford Explorer at the same cost.
This is the additional one. This is the third.
Motion.
And
Second.
what year is this one?
2025?
2025.
2025. Where are we buying it from?
It's from our outfitters in, it's Somerset.
It's right here. You have it right here. It's Laurel Ford.
Laurel Ford.
Wait a second.
We have a motion from
I second
Mr.
it.
Second.
I second it.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the acquisition of parcel 0131-D-00236-000 by Cami Sylvanskis as part of the Allegheny County Vacant Property Recovery Program.
We have a motion is second, Mr. Eads, Mr. Duncan, all in favor? All opposed?
This is one that I haven't finalized yet because I have two, in your package you have two sign options. Narrowed down to two options. We have option 1 and option 4 from Bear Sign, Bear Signs. I've gotten, those are the two that people seem most interested in. I would like a motion for one or the other.
Is the first one here, is the whole sign lit?
Both are lit, both are lighted up.
The white and the Munhall Borough is?
The white is, no, it's just the actual,
It's just the Munhall Borough?
just the Munhall Borough, yeah, both are lighted up.
Okay.
So the second one, option number 4,
Yes.
are we just saying it's the letters, there is no actual border around it? Because the one
That
is
is-
white.
Did everybody let Dave know before this meeting?
No, not everybody did, but
Everybody
this is what we narrowed it down to. So
Okay,
let's
gotcha.
move forward.
This has been going on, I can't wait to see those signs.
Just said pick one of the, I don't know why.
I understand, but there's a strong opinion, so give me a motion for one or the other. They're both about the same, $20,000 roughly.
I like one.
I make a motion for option 4.
We have a 1, we have a 4.
Well, I only have a motion for option 1.
Motion for option
I mean,
1.
option 4, I mean. Two. Is there a second to that one?
Second.
We have a second, motion is second. Number 4.
Okay, so I shall do a vote on that one.
Right. All in favor?
For the price of $19,381.23 from Bear Signs Company.
Plus installation.
Installation, that includes installation.
Oh, it does?
19381.23 is price plus installation.
We have a motion, a second on number 4. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me.
Okay.
All right, motion approved. Now, once again, Bill covered all this, just so we have some questions about this next one. It is just to finalize the purchase of these 2 dump trucks, which were voted on several months ago by council. This is just a financing option, as well as the 3 electric garbage trucks. This is an all-one deal at a 4.43% interest rate. There is no early payment penalty, so that particularly refers to the garbage trucks. So we'll get the trucks, we'll pay for them, and then get reimbursed and pay off the loan.
Question,
Yes.
when will we get the truck?
December expected for the small one, and then springtime for the other two. Is that right, Bob?
That was told, yes.
That's currently, I think December is pretty strong for these ones.
That's the rumor anyway.
Yeah.
When they pull in the
But we don't
lot
have to pay any of this until September of next year.
next year,
We will have the vehicles by then.
when they pull in the lot, I'll believe it.
Yeah, right.
All right, any other questions about that?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
I thought we were paying the garbage trucks to do something.
We were paying for the other battle motor garbage truck, the diesel one, through Kansas State Bank.
That's the one that Seth did.
Seth did that one. That was the other, the newer.
We were confused between those
It was
two.
very confusing,
Yeah.
trying to figure
It
out.
took a long time to figure that out. We thought it was for the electric trucks, it was for the diesel.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's the red one.
Yes.
I thought somebody said that we had to pay battle up front for the vehicles.
Well, that's because we were paying battle motor for this truck through Kansas State Bank, it's the same company, so I thought, oh, I have this bill regarding the garbage truck through battle motors. That's where the confusion came from. That's where it-
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion for approving this lease?
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion to approve the Steel Valley Accelerator TIF allocation for half of the annual compensation for Director of Marketing and Community Outreach for $37,000. Once again, this is not money that comes from the borough, it is money that is in the TIF that they need 2 of the 3 community services.
That's what we discussed last week at the workshop. Motion? Marini?
Can I get a roll call vote?
Yes.
But I need a second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Second, all right. Mr. Eads,
No.
Mr. Youngkins,
Don't you want to discuss
Ms. Fry.
it before I vote this thing?
Then why we voting on it?
Ms. Fry.
That's what I'm asking you, Jim.
That's why I voted no.
He said he wanted to discuss.
We had no
and if
discussion on it.
Discuss,
We're
then
just,
you
we're just,
voting.
we talked about it last week for a little bit, and now it's on our agenda, no one spoke anything about it. That's why I'm a no vote.
That's understand.
Ms. Fry.
And we,
Yes.
last week at the workshop, we discussed it.
We did discuss it last week. I
Yeah,
can
we-
answer any questions.
Mr. Brennan.
Right, we did discuss it last week, but I think the council, you know,
I vote no.
Mr. Firestone.
Yes.
Mr. Shields.
Yes.
Mayor Falls.
I vote yes.
Motion carries. That's fine. All right. Motion to approve Steel Valley Accelerated TIF allocation for support grass and flower maintenance of Homestead Bridge for $12,000 for the Boy Scouts to beautify the bridge.
Motion.
second, get a roll call vote?
Mr. Eads.
Yes.
Mr. Youngers.
Yes.
Ms. Fry.
Yes.
Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. Firestone.
Yes.
Mr. Richards.
Yes.
Motion to approve vehicle, we didn't talk about this, but we have committed this in the past, into the budget, $65,000 to Munhall Volunteer Fire Department for the vehicle.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's a pass-through. No, this isn't it. This is
not
our,
a pass-through.
this is our contribution to the.
It's our
trust.
contribution to
Okay.
the fire department.
Can we get some more motions?
Yes.
You want me to read them?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to read the motions. Council's already voted to amend the agenda, which I have approved, and there'll be 3 additional motions which you've heard discussed briefly. First motion is for an ordinance we have a public hearing on. Council can make a motion to adopt the ordinance establishing a tax forgiveness program for the borough.
Make a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, next one has to do with the Main Street Rehabilitation Project to award 2 bids. First, we need a motion to award the contract to the low bidder, A. Liberoni, for a total bid price of $751,879.17. For what aspect of the work is this?
The general mechanical work, which would be the paving and concrete
All
sidewalk,
right.
ADA ramps.
Thank you, that's the motion.
Question.
Question on the motion.
what if we don't have enough money to pay for it through the funding that we already have? Will the borough pay the difference?
No, we would just stop the project at that point until we got additional funding.
And that contract approves that? Because if we're done with contracts and we have a contract with someone and we can't fulfill that obligation unless we use our money, then.
Maybe the engineer can answer.
Yeah, we'll bring that up in a pre-construction meeting, but I had already discussed with those folks that, you know, we were working on getting additional funding, so we might have to stage the project accordingly so that we can split it into two sections.
Make sure that's in writing, please. Okay.
Motion?
Motion is second.
Second.
Motion by Mr.
Tim,
Tim, Mr. Youngkins, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
All right, next and final motion, this was added, is motion to award bid for the Main Street rehabilitation project to low bidder Moranti Contracting for a total bid price of $1,388,863. And Matt, what aspect of the work is this?
That's the street lighting.
Thank you. That's the motion.
Motion.
Motion is second.
I just have a comment.
Comment or question?
A comment.
Go ahead.
We're gonna be well over the amount of money we have. I brought that first question up, and like our solicitor said, we should have that all in writing.
Right. And we talked to the grant writer about, he's putting.
we're working on 3 grants to
Finish it up.
finish
And
that.
I realize we need to get the work started, so I understand that, so I vote yes.
I have a question too.
Go ahead.
So this is, we'll be able to, you're looking to do that just one specific area to start with, and that'll be covered with with the grant that we have? Or we have enough money to cover to where you said we were gonna go with the original project?
The whole thing.
Where do you think it'll end up?
We have to split it right down the middle. Probably the best part is where the first junction box is for the lighting. That covers one circuit. So the lower half or the upper half, whichever they choose. So we should have enough.
So from Main Street, Virginia Avenue, one way or the other.
Correct.
All right.
It's my duty and I'll work on it to find additional funding, so I don't want the borough to be.
We understand.
Just so-
We understand. I mean, if we have to write the check, then we're really stretching things.
Yeah.
I
We
get it.
had a comment on the motion. Where were we? Did we finish it?
It was a unanimous, there was no opposition.
Okay. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Are we going back to executive
Motion is
session?
second.
No.
No, we're not. Motion is second.
We're not going to discuss.
Can I please ask, can I ask 2 things? Dave, Gannon, if a house is demolished and the foundation is removed, can that house ever be built on? If somebody wants to come in and start with a new foundation and build, or is it, once that original foundation is removed, it can never be?
That's a good question. Years ago, they used to remove the foundation.
Chief
And
Engineer, can you let us finish up here?
Thank you.
Sorry.
years ago, they used to, when they demolished the house, they used to remove all the foundation. And then if someone would try to build on there again, you had to with your current setbacks, you would have to make sure you met all your current setbacks. What they do now is you leave the foundation, part of the foundation in there, so if someone wants to go build a house on it, they're rebuilding the house. They're not. So
When you say part of the foundation, just one wall?
They usually use a couple courses.
Oh, this way, okay, gotcha.
Thank you so much.
So that's the way they get around that anymore. Because there's a lot of, like the zoning, like there was 5-foot setbacks, there's a lot of houses that were only 3. And they were saying why, so they just leave the foundation. It's rebuilt, not a new construction.
That kind of gets around the setbacks.
It gets around setbacks.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
One
And the other
question,
thing
Amy.
that I wanted to bring up was, I'm not going to mention names or anything, but there was a event on 9/11 that was at the William on Penn Hotel, and we wrote a check for $400. It was $50 a person. I'm just saying, we have always, if we paid for the council person to go, And they took their wife, they took their husband, they took whoever, they paid for the additional. It was brought up at workshop, I did bring it up at the finance meeting, and I am going to bring it up now, because I firmly believe, sitting here on council, we are here and we all have a conscience. I'm sorry. I understand us paying for the council people to go, but I don't want to see a precedent. Because we start on this, we're going to start on conferences and training. I just want everybody to be aware. I think you need to say, with a clear conscience and with transparency, I'll go. I'll pay for my wife. That's how it should be. I know this is my opinion, but I just want you all to know that's how I truly feel. And I wanted it said in public.
I mean, I think we discussed that.
No, we didn't.
We definitely discussed that last week.
Okay, and
We definitely discussed
She
that.
can open up for you.
Right,
what's going to
and
happen?
I said I would pay for my wife. I have no issue paying for my wife.
Okay,
You know, just like everything I do outside of this borough, you know, the $79 I receive every 2 weeks from this borough for the amount of work that we do. And the people who question us and call us and stop by our house, you can't go to John Eagle, I can't get a bite to eat without somebody stopping us. So you're upset that my wife went to a dinner that you refused to go to, Bernie refused to go to.
I didn't refuse to go to.
Yeah, I'm not saying refused,
Yeah.
but people in this council who was set up for it refused to go. So now it's our fault because Dave's wife and I went to, with us, so we filled our table.
I know the mayor and I have discussed this over the years, Tim, and our wives have sacrificed so much over our families. Since the last workshop, I've attended the workshop, meetings with the state rep the next day. I attended the committee event on Saturday, and then was a accelerator meeting the following day. We all sacrificed so much, and that's how I feel.
I realize that, but
Okay, right.
I'm just saying,
That's your opinion.
when
You have to
we all
work.
took on the role.
I understand that. You got your point across.
I'm just saying, when we took on the role of being council
Yes, you did.
president or volunteer, God bless us all.
All right, that's it.
And
I'll take
only
it.
when you're on this seat do you realize how much is involved. Some people pour 50%, some people pour 100%, some people put 150%.
Well,
I'm just saying, we all have a conscience. If you can live
What
with
is-
a conscience, that's
what-
all I'm asking.
So I don't have a conscience because my wife went to a dinner with me because you guys didn't want to go to the dinner that we paid for already, correct? So
But we
that's
shouldn't
me
have
that I,
paid $400 if only 2 people said they would go.
and the good thing about that was, you know, Mayor Ponder, the late Mayor Ponder was brought up at that meeting and conference. It was how much he did for the Still Valley Authority
That was brought up at the dinner?
at the dinner.
Wow, I didn't know that.
How much he
But
did.
also, I didn't
They
know Ray-
spoke on Ray Bodnar for at least 20 minutes.
Wow.
What he did for the Still Valley Authority. And I'm glad members of our council were there to see that, because we looked really foolish if none of us were there.
I brought that up a few years ago. I was at this, I wasn't sure what meeting it was. Ray was there. He's looking at me right now, I know. I can see him back there. He's always watching me, by the way. And it happened to be down Lowe's Theater upstairs when it was operating down there. And Ed Brandell came in. Well, you know, when Ray saw the governor, he was on him. And he went after him. There was some issue that Ray had. He met with his staff. Staff called him back the next day. I'm like, whoa, it was done within a month. So these are networking events. They're very important. You know, if you want to make an issue about bringing your wives, so be it. And
It wasn't one speech about Ray.
yeah,
It
right.
was multiple speeches about it.
Wow.
You know, and that was our mayor for a very long time. That's something everyone in this community should be proud of.
Right.
And members of this council, I wish you were there to listen to it. It was absolutely amazing.
I didn't know Ray Brazo was one of the founding members also.
I didn't either.
Yes, it was on the back of the thing. I didn't
There
know
was
that.
a list of founding members.
Yes.
And I guarantee you, none of them were from the borough of Munhall.
Right. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion second.
Second.
Motion, meeting adjourned.